Today is June 6, 2020. We are 3 months into the lockdown. The world economy is still on hold, and as many people are still losing their jobs or are going bankrupt. Over 100,000 small businesses in Germany are predicted to lose their jobs within the next couple of months. So they're actually saying that this is an economic crisis because of the alleged corona pandemic. But the truth is that there is no real pandemic. We never see any people collapsing outside and dying. Yeah, there are multiple doctors in Germany that talk the truth or the facts on the subject. There are more and more people speaking the facts on the subject. People are researching the facts online and becoming aware of this reality that they're not telling us the truth via the mass media. As an example, Dr. Wolfgang Wodark, Dr. Mark Fiedeke, and Dr. Köhnlein all state that this is not a real pandemic, not even an epidemic, and that every year around 600,000 people die of the regular flu, and that 15% of these people have corona. The so-called masks that we have to wear do not actually protect us from any type of virus because of the porosity. The porosity of masks are 300 nanometers, and the virus in itself is around 30 nanometers big, or like 10 times smaller. So the viruses always go through the masks. What these masks do actually is reduce the communication between the peoples in the population. It's kind of a doctor's muzzle on ourselves. So we reduce the number of conversations in our society, the less people are going to rebel. Millions of people online are actually researching the facts online as we speak on every possible event the mass media spews out, and finds out that it's all based on lies. The truth is going more and more mainstream. As an example, Xavier Naidoo, a really known singer in Germany, who makes really beautiful songs, Christian songs actually in the truth, also shocking songs. He's actually a rebel in disguise, went public with the facts that there are Satanists who rule over us and practically torture and kill children. That is what he said in his statements. That is what he said in official videos that were published on YouTube, then removed by YouTube and re-uploaded on Telegram. Telegram is still censor-free, and if you want, you can follow him on Telegram and follow his videos there and his activism. It was shocking for Germany because the Bild Zeitung actually published this. Many newspapers in Germany slandered him and depicted him as some conspiracy nut that didn't know the truth. But it got the attention of millions of people on the subject. Now millions of people in Germany know what we actually believe, that they're pedo-satanic monsters that consume children, that rule over us. This shadow government is allied with the negative ET forces that are out there, the so-called reptilians, the little and tall short rays, and insectoids. Whereas the Federation of Light ships are on the side of the inner earthen forces of Agartha, the Hollow Earth. Agartha is on the side of the Imperial Germans and the Federation of Light. They all want peace. But the negative forces, the satanic forces, want eternal war. They want to enslave us and take away all our freedoms. What this alleged pandemic now did was take away all our freedoms. At the same time, the mass media incites the minority groups against the white majority in the white Western world. As an example of George Floyd, in the last year alone, apparently there were only 9 killings of innocent people who were Afro-Americans and 20 white people. So in essence, more white people get killed by the police than black people or Hispanics or Asians, and this never makes the news. The leftist propaganda always incites the minorities to make them believe that they're the eternal victims, although we are all actually losers in the system. A white Western world is not what we actually want it to be. It's a socialist, communist institution that is running the show. The central bank that spews out the money and enslaves financially the entire nation. You have to research these facts online. So after these articles came out of Xavier Naidoo, where he expressed himself on the so-called child-sacrificing monsters that rule over us, he got defamed by the mass media. Weeks later, another famous rapper in Germany also came out and said, well, I actually believe what Xavier Naidoo said, that there are pedophiles that do this kind of stuff. And his name was Sido or Agro Berlin. So this rapper came out and he also got defamed by the mass media. How is it possible that there's apparently an elite of people that sacrifice children and eat them and rape them? Pedophilic satanic monsters. And he said, well, so many children disappear every year in Germany alone. Over 100,000 children disappear in Germany every year. Over 700,000 children disappear in the USA alone every year. And this goes into the millions worldwide. It's an horrific international trade of children. The second biggest trade is the trade of women. As I keep researching online, I keep finding articles on Genghis Khan. He's depicted in our histories as an evil tyrant and conqueror. But the same they did with Adolf Hitler. They defamed him forever and ever. And apparently, Genghis Khan forbade the selling of women and forbade torture in this incredible huge kingdom. You can't claim that from our true rulers. The world police, the United States Army, orchestrates war after war and subjugates any type of nation that is outside of Rothschild-controlled banking. During these 3 months of lockdown, I heard several times a week a loud rumbling noise in the background, and I didn't really know what it was in the atmosphere at night. And people in Argentina also heard this. People in America also heard this. So it's heard all across the world, a rumbling noise from the atmosphere. These sounds are recorded all across the world and heard all across the world from the atmosphere, and nobody knows where they're from. At the same time, there are articles online that portray that blue lights have been seen all across the world in the atmosphere. Then, of course, you think automatically to Independence Day, the movie from the 90s, where these saucer-type aircraft came out of the skies and wanted to destroy the world. Of course, we don't have to believe Hollywood. Hollywood makes an incredible story out of every prophecy and states then that the entire world is always going to be destroyed. But that is not going to happen. It's going to be a change in age from the age of darkness and deception and lies and eternal warfare to universal peace and salvation, the so-called kingdom of heaven on earth, according to the Bible, but after Judgment Day. So we have to keep passing the word, keep passing the propaganda, keep passing the facts, keep passing the truth online, and keep countering the BS of the elites of Hollywood. As an example, George Floyd, he's a minority of a minority. He's not a saint. A really great video that I watched on Twitter was from Candace Owens that portrayed the fact on George Floyd, and that this incredible inciting of the masses through the mass media to not rebel, but to loot, destroy, burn, rape, murder, that is actually an inciting of people to other people. And the most victims of these riots are black businesses, their own people, okay? It's so sad, but this happens every single time that apparently a black man gets unjustly killed by the police, although every year more white people get killed by the police than black people, Asians, or Hispanics. That is the fact. You have to just Google FBI crime statistics or the Department of Justice crime statistics online to see these facts. So it's all media manipulation. I was actually quite stupefied when all these so-called credible celebrities on Instagram start endorsing Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is comparable to Antifa. It's funded by the Open Society Foundation and by George Soros. Just research that online. And they're only there to create false guilt feelings among every people in the world for apparently not saving that black Afro-American that somehow died under the evil cops. They claim it's genocide, but it's only 9 people. Every year, thousands of blacks get killed by other blacks in the USA alone, and the media doesn't bat an eye. The celebrities online shut up about it. Yeah, not even the gangster rappers state anything on this in their own news feeds. It's incredible. Just look at the facts online. Although apparently blacks are only 13% of the population in the United States, they're responsible for 40 or 50% of all the murders, over 50% of all burglaries, assaults, etc., etc., etc. Of course, statistics don't define a people, but still, statistically, they commit the most crime in the United States of America. And then we have to follow the victim narrative and feel guilty forever and ever. Then you have these white brainwashed leftist idiots who kneel in front of black people, wanting forgiveness for being white. Then you have the genocide of white South Afrikaners in South Africa, the mass murder and rape of women in Sweden. Thousands upon thousands of women get raped by Muslims every year in Sweden, and it never makes the news. Even Donald Trump mentioned that during his election cycle. Look at Sweden. What's happening there? The second highest rape rate in the entire world. And we don't go on the streets and portray victims, pictures of the victims of these Muslims that attack us over and over again and say that we have to kick them out or that we have to loot, burn, and kill everybody. People have to make up their own opinion on the facts that they find online. And thanks God we have the internet. So millions of Germans have read the articles on the official newspapers because it went viral and the newspapers reacted to it. And the newspapers literally spoke the truth, that there was a Zionist conspiracy that kidnaps children, apparently tortures them for adrenochrome, and then consumes them. So it literally said that in the bill, in the newspaper in Germany, on their website at least, and other websites and other newspapers. They portrayed the entire conspiracy or truth and said it was a hoax or a fake, that how can you believe such an incredible, horrible story? But more and more people are speaking out the truth on this subject. On a side note, I went for the first time to a barber here in Germany, but I had to give out my address, my phone number, the time I went in, the time I went out, comparable to communist Soviet Russia, where everybody was controlled and watched only on a technological basis, comparable to communist China. It's incredible now that to get just a haircut at the barber, you have to give out your credentials, your address, your phone number, the time you went in, the time you went out. They want to know everything about us. They're spying on us 24/7. At the same time, they're passing laws to make sure that we can never rebel. So we have to speak out now where we still can and hope for the best. And pray to the Lord, actually, pray to God for salvation. For at the end, we all have to be saved. And I'm sure that we're close to Judgment Day, so we just have to keep on going. On a side note again, I started working out at the gym again after 2-3 months of lockdown. The gyms were closed. I had some weights, but it's not the same. You can't go to your own limits. So I started working out at the gym again. My goal is to become again as I was in 2017 or a year ago or half a year ago, where I started working out at the gym again. And yeah, you can see in the background 2017, that's my goal. This is how I was a couple of months ago before the lockdown, and I'll see how I get there. My fitness goals are to become strong again at least, and to have some endurance. Many greetings from Schuttorf, Germany, and cheers!